like and subscribe. That's not my baby." A loud crash reverberated through the peaceful Ohio evening as B.N.Rocker's front door splintered into pieces. Dan, a sturdy man in his mid-30s, bolted upright from his couch, his heart pounding. Before he could react, a figure darted into his living room, knocking over his coffee table and scattering papers everywhere. "B.N.Rocker!" the intruder screamed, her voice echoing off the walls, as her eyes bore into his. "Who are you?" Dan stammered, backing away. "I am Zara," she replied, "and this," she pointed to the bundle she carried, "is your child." Dan's eyes widened as he took in the sight of the baby. It had humanoid features, but its skin was a pale blue, and its eyes were eerily similar to Zara's. "You must be mistaken," Dan protested. "I've never seen you before." "Liar," Zara hissed. "You promised me you'd return, that we'd be a family." Tears glistened in her eyes as she clutched the baby tighter. "But you never came back." "Look, I don't know who you are or what you're talking about," Dan said, trying to stay calm, "but I've never met you, and that's not my child." Zara's eyes flashed with anger. "Do not lie to me, Dan. I have proof." She pulled out a small device, and a holographic image sprang to life, showing a man who looked exactly like Dan, holding Zara and smiling. Dan stared at the image. It couldn't be him. He has never left his hometown, let alone been to another planet, but the resemblance was uncanny. "I have a twin brother," he said slowly, the realization dawning on him. "David, but we haven't spoken in years." Zara's expression shifted from anger to confusion. "Twin brother?" "Yes," Dan nodded. "We lost touch a long time ago, but I swear it wasn't me in that image." Zara's anger faded, replaced by uncertainty. "But you look exactly like him." "We're identical twins," Dan explained, "but I promise you, I've never met you before. You must have met David." Zara's eyes softened as she looked at the baby, then back at Dan. "If what you say is true, then I've been deceived." Dan felt sympathy for her. "I'm sorry you went through this, but you need to find David. He's the one you're looking for." "I don't know where he is," Zara admitted, her voice trembling. "I came here because this is where my ship detected your DNA." Dan sighed. "I wish I could help you more, but I don't know where David is either." Zara nodded, a look of determination crossing her face. "I will find him, for our child's sake." Suddenly, the room was filled with the sound of footsteps and voices. Dan's neighbors, alerted by the noise, had called the police. Officers burst into the room, weapons drawn. "Hands up!" they shouted. Zara stepped back, her eyes wide with fear. "Please don't hurt us," she pleaded, holding the baby protectively. Dan quickly raised his hands. "It's okay. She's not dangerous." The officers hesitated, unsure of what to make of the situation. Dan stepped forward, his hands still raised. "Let me explain," he said calmly. "She is crazy. Please take her away without her knowing I told you to, so she does not hold it against me." The officers agree, cuffing her and escorting her out. Roughly an hour goes by when another woman came in, and she had a child that looked just like the one Zara has. "Hey, hun, I was thinking we should go on vacation for a few weeks. I hear Alpha Centauri is great this time of year. I booked us tickets. We leave tonight. Aren't you excited?" said Dan, as they packed their bags. The phone rang. "It's your brother. Do you want me to get that for you, Dan?" his wife shouted. Dan said no. "Let it go. I'll talk to him when I get back," with an evil grin on his face. This is not goodbye, nor the end. Until the story continues, my friends. B.N.Rocker.